Hey, welcome to On the Path podcast with Cheryl Nembhard. You know, since I was a kid, I was told my conversations were way too deep. Well, now it's paying off. Join me and the names you know as we go deep into their personal stories of triumph, tragedy, and the lessons they've learned along the way. Friends, this crazy, overwhelming life we live calls for some serious encouragement and inspiration. So grab a cup of coffee and get your notebook because we're going into the classroom of life. So let's get lifted with faith filled conversations. I'll see you on the path.
Watch in Canada on Yes TV and the Yes TV app, or watch on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Pioneer Network, Faith TV, and more in the US. Also watch and subscribe on our YouTube channel.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On the Path. I am so excited. As I always say, with you and me, us, we are in the classroom of life. We are learning from incredible teachers as we go, from authors to athletes to celebrities to pastors, preachers to filmmakers, hint, hint. And we get to talk about incredible stories and what we can learn from them. And today, I'm so excited to have this powerhouse in the building. Let me tell you a little bit about Andrew Erwin. Andrew Erwin is an award-winning director and producer, best known for his work with his brother John as the Erwin Brothers. Together, they've created impactful films like I Can Only Imagine. Anybody heard that one before? And Jesus Revolution, sound familiar? Which led to the founding of Kingdom Story Company, a production company focused on stories of faith and redemption. And today, Andrew continues to inspire audiences with his storytelling. And we will be discussing his brand new film, Whitebird, which is a Lionsgate film. I can't wait to get into the creative journey and the process. But first, a huge On the Path welcome for Andrew. Let's go.
Cheryl, I will take that intro any day. If you could just leave that as a voicemail for me to on a loop. I will be listening to it constantly. Thank you.
And just all of Canada going, Andrew, Andrew.
I will take a small portion of Canada, but any of it, I'll be grateful for it.
Oh my goodness, Andrew, I cannot wait to get for our people to get to know you. And for those that aren't familiar with you or maybe even your films, let's do it in a fun way, filmmaker style. If your life, Andrew, was a movie, what would the title be and why?
I think it would be fake it till you make it and then keep faking it. I think really the title would be just the word wow. My dad called things the wow factor, and he would just say, until the audience has an experience where they say, wow, your job's not done. And so we just felt like our job was to move people emotionally with what we believe. And Jesus did it amazingly with parables. And so we just tried to step into that and just say, how do we tell something that really moves people emotionally? And we love giving people just that rush of hope. So my dad always called it the wow factor. So I guess that's that's the bar to aim for. We don't always hit it, but we try to get as close as possible.
Well, as someone who has seen both I Can Only Imagine, Jesus Revolution, wow, completed.
Okay,
Wow,
my job is done. My job is done.
And now we're here with Whitebird, a very different take, sort of a departure from maybe what we've known from before. What was it about it that made you think this is the project for us?
You know, the neat thing about what we tried to do with Kingdom Story Company with my producing partner, Kevin Downs, was the idea of getting to the point where we can start empowering other filmmakers in their stories. That it's not just about the Erwin brothers. It's not just about, our movies. It's about finding other people that have stories that impact the faith journey and empowering those. And so this has been a really busy year. Lionsgate has let us release 2 films already. This will be our 3rd film this year. And so it's just, it's one of those things that we're just super grateful to serve an audience. And there was a movie that was back in 2017 was released called Wonder. And so it starred Julia Roberts. It was about her son who was special needs named Augie. And he had a lot of challenges in life and was bullied for it, but he overcame that with kindness. And it's just the power of kindness. And I remember when I saw that in theaters, I was like, if we could ever be involved in something like that, I would love that. And there's a renowned filmmaker that's an Oscar nominated filmmaker named Mark Forster that has done movies like Finding Neverland and Christopher Robin and A Man Called Otto. And he's just a savant. And he had decided to tell the story of it's kind of a sequel. It's a spinoff of Wonder, and it takes the character that was the bully in that film, Julian, who's been expelled from school because of bullying, and now we pick up with him trying to make it a new start in a new school, and he goes home and has an encounter with his grandmother who's visiting from France, and played by Oscar winner Helen Mirren, who is just a legend. And she comes home and says, "You don't know your story and where you've come from." And she tells her story of being a young Jewish girl in Nazi-occupied France, and how her life was saved by the kindness of a little boy that stood up for her at great cost. And it's just such a beautiful story. And there was a line in the story that sold us on it, where she said, "When an act of kindness can cost you your life, it becomes something of a miracle." And when I heard that line, I was like, "We're in. I'm in. Whatever. Just whatever you need to do." And it just shows that power of the gospel in action, the Good Samaritan story, who is my neighbor, and so beautifully illustrates it. Mark made a masterpiece. Our job was just to kind of be there, cheer him on, say, "Make your film," and we're so proud to be a part of it.
And I wonder, how was it? Because it's set in World War II. So
Yeah.
how did you what was the creative journey like, trying to stay true to the sort of historical accuracy, historical text, and still have this beautiful, sweeping, emotional story full of passion? What was that balance and tension like?
It was fascinating to kind of see what happened there. You know, Mark, the director, is very much about authenticity. And the interesting perspective he had is he is Swiss German, and his family is from Germany. And so for him to go back and tell this story of this little Jewish girl and what she went through, but to tell it from a whole different perspective and to make sure it was accurate, but to kind of right a lot of wrongs that were done during that time period, I think he just had such a empathetic point of view to making sure that he made it right. And I think he put every ounce of that into making sure it felt authentic to the time period, and it resonated with so many other true stories that happened just like this one. And so the moment that really grabbed my heart was, there's a moment in the film when the SS officers from the Nazis are coming in to round up all the school kids and all the Jewish school kids, and take them to what they said was going to be to meet their parents. But ultimately it was to concentration camps. And the priest that was the headmaster for the school, and some of the nuns that were teachers, put their life on the line. And one of the nuns got on the back of the transport and said, "I go where my children go." And she accepted their fate and went with them. And I just was like, that's really the power of what we believe. It's about self-sacrifice, putting our lives on the line, and it was just so beautifully done, and
Yeah.
captured me emotionally. And he did this a fantastic job.
I love that, and indeed, it was beautifully done. I wonder, what's your hope for the film? Like, as a producer, how do you hope the film lands with the audience? What's the takeaway message or messages you're hoping that they leave the theater with?
You know, you never know. You never know exactly when a film is going to come out and what timing of things are going to be going on. So when the film was made, everything happening in Israel and all that had not happened. And so October 7th hadn't happened, and there was so many things that globally weren't going on. And to kind of drop this film into the midst of so much worldwide conflict, I think it talks about not just kindness. The message of the first movie, Wonder, was about the power of kindness. I think this movie is about the power of courage. And it's like, when kindness can cost you everything and you still do the right thing, that takes courage, and that's when it becomes a miracle. It's the combination of those two things meeting, where it's like, it's kindness with courage. And so I think it's a time where it's so important for us to have courage to do the right thing, to treat people the right way, no matter what the mob or political society or the whatever is going on, is saying, sticking with what's right and having the courage to stand up for people that need to be stood up for. And
Mm.
so, and that's not just one people group; that's everybody. That's people in general. But this story really showed it through this family standing up for this one little Jewish girl, and putting their lives in the way.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Andrew. And I wonder, as a producer, I can only imagine the ups and downs. Tell me about one of the biggest challenges. What are the biggest challenges behind the scenes that you had to work through with making Whitebird?
You know, with Whitebird, it's just a matter of it's a big film, um, and Mark had such a artistic vision, and I think the thing that he did so well is it would be easy for the film of this magnitude and this subject matter to really become emotionally unbearable and way too heavy. And what he did that I thought was impossible is he rooted it in this whimsical story of young love. And when you watch it, just the beauty and the innocence of this young boy that also has physical disabilities, uh, showing unconditional love to this girl that didn't love him when she had the chance and didn't show him kindness, but he chose it for her and he won her heart. And there's just this beautiful, whimsical love story that happens and plays out in this barn. And, Mark can do whimsy better than anybody. But he took a very serious and intense subject matter and he made it beautiful and warm and inviting. And that's hard to do. And I on paper, thought it was impossible, but he stuck the landing. It absolutely delivers.
Well, speaking of a love story, you'll see where I'm going here.
Okay.
Tell us about
I'll go with you.
tell us about Kingdom Story Company, which is your love with your brother, the Erwin brothers. How did that even come to be, and what was the story behind that?
With John and I started, my brother and I started as kids making films together, and we were always just these crazy dreamers that grew up in an area where film wasn't even on a remote possibility. Like there was no way. But John had big dreams, and I was a doer, and we just kind of combined forces. And it was in 2018 after we had done several films and it led to the movie I Can Only Imagine. And that was a moment in time where that could have been our biggest success, which it has been, or it could have been the end of a career. It was just at a time where we needed it to turn one way or the other. And that film just resonated with such a resounding, statement of hope. And people really just connected with that story in such a way that I can't really explain. And for us as directors and producers on that one, with Kevin, our producing partner, we were just amazed to be stewarded with that opportunity. So we stopped and said, what if we created a destination that valued the faith audience in such a way that allowed us to make more and more of these films and to steward it for other filmmakers? And so Lionsgate, our parent company that releases our films, came along and wanted to do a deal with us. And there was a filmmaker named Tyler Perry that Tyler was leaving the studio, and we just happened to be able to step into his slot, and they were able to make a deal where they gave us full creative control, and allowed us to do our stories our way. And for the first several years, that was me and my brother making movies together. But then there came a point where it's like, what if we started empowering other people? And so we've actively made an active search for other stories that are worthy, other storytellers that are worthy, and just trying to open the doors for them that we wish had been open for us. And so Kevin and I have continued to steward that, and we're just so grateful to be able to tell stories for a living for an audience we greatly value.
Well, you have done just that, and when I think about you, it's probably not a phrase you hear a lot, but hopefully it sticks with you. You guys are media missionaries. And
Oh, I love that.
I'm just so thankful for you. It's a different field, it's a
I love that.
yeah, it's a different stage, it's a different platform, equally as needed and equally as impactful. And before you go, we've got 1 minute left. I got a speed round for you. Are you ready?
Speed round, go for it. I'm in, Cheryl. Let's do this.
Okay. You talked about a war film. Wars may be started based on your answer.
Uh-oh, no pressure.
Here we go. Cake or pie?
I am a pie person, especially anything chocolate pie and pecan pie. Yeah, pie is my thing.
Okay. Chocolate pie. If I had more time, that feels like a southern route there. Something's coming up there. Okay. Tea or coffee?
I started with tea, but I'm now coffee. I was a chai tea person, but I've kind of transitioned into Americanos are my thing. So maybe
Got
that's called getting older.
Love it. Filmmaker one for you. Night shoots or morning shoots?
I am a night shoot person. Like, call me a movie vampire. Like, let's go overnight. It's fun.
Big action sequences or quiet, emotional, deep moments?
The quiet moments. I'm an introvert, so I will take. I can fake it, but give me the quiet moments every day of the week.
This one is going to start a war, so just strap in. Here we go. Spielberg, last question. Spielberg or Scorsese?
I am Spielberg hands down. Like, Scorsese is a master, but Spielberg makes films for the people, and anybody that can jump back and forth from a movie like, Saving Private Ryan to Jurassic Park, give me that equation.
Oh, Andrew Irwin, you are a brilliant gift to the kingdom of God. I'm so thankful I had this time with you. It was too short, but I'll take what I can get. You're just a genius. Thank you for being on the path.
You say sweet things like that, and I'll keep making movies just for an excuse to come back. So thank you, Cheryl.
And Canada loves you. Woo woo.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, guys. Love Canada back.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On the Path. I'm so excited, as I always say. You and me, we are in the classroom of life. We are learning from incredible teachers as they share from their books, their films, their athletic skills, from all of the things that they do in the world in big, big ways. And we get to sit with a true storyteller, someone who is involved in film in a big way. I cannot wait for you to get to know Kevin Downs. Let me read a little bit about Kevin. Kevin is a producer, director, and actor known for his work in faith-based films. As a co-founder of the Kingdom Story Company, he has produced acclaimed films like I Can Only Imagine and Jesus Revolution, also one of my favorites, American Underdog. Any of them sound familiar to you guys so far? With over 20 years experience, Kevin focuses on telling inspirational stories rooted in faith, redemption, and hope. His passion for creating family-friendly films that resonate with audience has made him a key figure in Christian cinema, and he is helping to shape the genre's modern landscape. We are so excited to be talking about his brand new film, Whitebird, which is a Lionsgate's film, and we got to speak with his partner, I won't say in crime, but in kingdom ministry.
That's funny.
Yes, Andrew, just a little while ago. Would you please give a huge On the Path Canadian welcome to Kevin Downs?
How you doing?
How you doing, Kevin? It's so good to have you with us. I'm so excited, and I'm just really, really excited for this incredible film called Whitebird. But before we talk about that, just for those that don't know you and are getting to know you for the first time, I thought we'd do it in a fun way. So, Kevin, if your life was a movie, what would be the title and why?
Um, if my life was a movie. I keep going back to your comment of we're in the classroom. So right now, I just feel like I'm in the classroom right now. So every day, every day is about being in a classroom because
I love
you
it.
never know what you're going to get in the classroom. Things change left and right, and life is a daily adventure. And I think that's what I love about making films and kind of trailblazing a path for the types of films that we make. There's a few of us doing it, but not many. And it just seems like the bar keeps getting raised higher and higher as far as quality and the talent that we're assembling and putting together. And and gosh, what would the title be? Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's a good one.
We'll call it the classroom of
Yeah.
life, the story of Kevin Downs.
uh,
I love it.
Trailblazer. I don't know. I have no idea.
There we go. Trailblazer, the story of Kevin Downs. And speaking of trailblazing, Kevin, how did you begin this journey? How did you stumble into this huge world of film? Tell us the
Well,
beginnings.
I started as an actor, so to be honest, I didn't know what producers did back when I was in my early 20s. And so me and a buddy of mine and I, David R. White, who a lot of people know, we decided to write and produce a movie for the sole purpose of casting ourselves in the lead roles. And so that's kind of how I stumbled into it. Totally selfish. But then we got to see the outcome of what happened when we made the film and how lives got drastically changed forever. And I thought to myself, okay, God, this is what I want to do. If you should show me how to do it, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. I was 20, like 27 years old when that happened. And so you know what, I feel very blessed. I feel very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in. People ask me for like the give me the 30-second take. How do you do this, that, and the other, or whatever? And I'm like, man, this is 30 years of doing this. So I don't have a 30-second take. I think you just have to figure out what audiences want. And if you have a story and a passionate story within your heart, you figure out how to get it made and get it to them. I mean, that's as sort of as simple as that. And then hope that they go. Or if it's not a theatrical, hope they watch it, whether it's streaming or whatnot. But that is the concept of it. I think so many times, filmmakers they start telling a story and they're not even sure who the audience is for the story they want to tell, and that I think that's very dangerous. You really want to know that there's an audience out there that's going to appreciate the story that's on your heart, and the work that you're going to put into it to get it out there. For me, we have the gift of seeing lives being transformed by the work that we do, and so that's just icing on the cake. So it's really, really great. I would never do anything else. People have asked me, "Hey, do you want to do like horror movies?" I'm like, "Why? Why would you do that?" Like, I would never do that. It's a gift to be able to do. Kingdom Story Company makes movies that are true stories, mostly that are showcase the power of the gospel and just signify a rush of hope into people's lives. And I love it. And the latest is Whitebird, which is totally
I love
I
it. I
know.
love it. And I'm going to take that as my jumping off point. You create films that give a rush of hope, and that is 100% what Whitebird does. These beautiful, sweeping themes of kindness and empathy, and in the face of historical tragedy at the same time. I gotta ask, what drew you to the story as a producer? Like, what was the thing that you thought, this is our project?
Well, the themes of kindness are so needed in society today. I mean, it's like the world would be a better place if no matter what your faith is, if we'd all just practiced kindness and selfless kindness, as you see in our story of these people that are thrust into a situation that none of them asked for. These two young people, in World War II, Nazi occupied France, and just the desperation for survival. If our life was in a moment that it was a desperation of survival, how would we act? Most of us would probably be pretty selfish, I would think, like, right? And yet, here in the most dire of circumstances, and my hats off to the filmmakers, the director Mark Forrester, who has literally made some of my favorite movies of all time. He's so good, and it's such an easy watch. If you're a fan of World War II movies, you're gonna love it. If you're not a fan of World War II movies and on the fence about them, you're still gonna love it because you get into it and it goes by in a blink. That's when you know the movie's really good, when it just goes by so fast and it sticks with you. And this type of movie. When I first watched the final cut, the final cut is like you got all the sound, the music, and everything's put together, and you sit and you get to kind of enjoy it without thinking, okay, how can I give notes and do this, that, and the other different. I sat there and I had tears in my eyes, and I said, this movie's so powerful. It's so important for such a time as this, in this moment today, because people need to see it. And it starts for me and my family. As soon as I get a moment, certainly before it comes out in theaters here, I'm going to sit down with my three boys. I got the three little boys, 11, 15, 16, so they're right in the heat of it. And because it's an absolutely appropriate movie for their ages. And we're going to watch it and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how bullying impacts their school and their community and their friendship groups, and we're going to talk about the lessons learned from these characters and the decisions that they made that had impact over lives surrounding them, and even in the midst where it was like their life was very tough. And I can't wait for that conversation. I love that. As a dad, I love that. And so can you just imagine if we have those conversations going on in our work, in our community, at our at our church, whatever. It's like the world would be a better place all the way around. So that's why I love this
Yes.
movie. I'm like, okay, this is a movie that can change culture. It's not just entertainment; it's incredible entertainment because, again, the director's so good, and the actors are so
Yeah.
good, really, really good. Helen Mirren, who plays the grandmother, tells the story. I mean, obviously, she is one of the best of all time, and so. Just an honor to be a part of it, to be honest. So, yeah, people should catch it. It's a theatrical event. Definitely you want to catch it out when it's in theaters because it's one of those things that you'll love it, but you also want to talk about it.
I love that. And I love that phrase. Let's talk about changing culture for a minute, because that is really what we want this film to do. We want it to shift culture, change culture, bring conversations in. What is the key message, or what's your hope? Like, what's the takeaway you'd love for the audience to take with them after watching
Yeah,
Whitebird?
my hope is obviously I'm always hopeful that when you go and watch a movie that we've made that you're entertained. So that is the hope because you're paying your money for it. But my hope is that you walk away from it realizing that you know what I could do a better job of having kindness at the forefront of my thought process. Whenever things don't go my way, whether at home or at work or wherever, am I truly exhibiting kindness in every situation, every possible angle possible? Uh, and I hope people have that discussion. Just have the discussion, whether it comes out fruitful or not. Just having that discussion, I think, is so important because especially in the last year with these election cycles, the media just gets so much in people's heads. Like this is the only way you can communicate it within your culture, and it becomes so attack worthy and toxic in that way. But yet, there's this little thing called kindness that's the opposite of that, where we can come together in a kind fashion and put somebody else before the thoughts or wants of ourselves.
I love it. And Kingdom Story as a production company is known for these incredible, lush, faith-based films that have these huge themes, these authentic stories, sometimes very true to life or autobiographies, if you will, played out in a very creative way. What is the story behind Kingdom Story?
Yeah, no, I mean, we had, it was just some guys that were struggling to figure out how to find an audience for the films that we want to made, and so certainly our big film, I Can Only Imagine, we went out and raised the money for it, the production dollars as well as the marketing dollars, and marketed the movie ourselves on our own, and then realized that you know what, there's an audience for that type of movie that they want to go, they want to experience something that gave them and left them with a certain feeling that they want to revisit again, and who doesn't want to feel hopeful? Like, I mean, that's such a positive experience, and so I think coming out of that and seeing the result of that, we formed Kingdom Story Company, and like, okay, this is our mission: is to be able to make films, and you can see across our site. I mean, we who would have thought we would have 4 theatricals in one year? All 4 of them are very, very
Unreal.
different movies. I mean,
Incredible.
from Ordinary Angels to Unsung Hero to now Whitebird to coming out next month or in 2 months, the best Christmas pageant ever, which is for the whole family. They're all very different movies, but they all have a very similar theme. Meaning, you'll leave the theater feeling really good, either about um, things that you've done in your life or your parents or your mom or friends or people that are struggling that that you want to just lift them up and do something extraordinary that you never thought possible, which is like in Ordinary Angels. And so I love that about our films is that it just encourages people to go the extra step to be able to make an impact and a difference in their community.
I love that. And you said 4 films, Kevin. Is that right? That's unheard of in
I
one
know.
year. That's are you
I don't,
human?
well,
I
I
just want to
know, I don't
know.
know.
Like it's AI,
Yeah.
Android. Tell us the truth, Kevin. Spill the
I'm
beans.
not sure how this has happened, but at some point we'll take a break and actually 5 in 12 months because we have another one coming out in February.
Oh my
And then after that
goodness.
there's a break. People won't hear from us for a minute, but yeah, 5 in 12 months, pretty unbelievable. But our partners at Lionsgate, they're so great. I mean, they want to feed our stories to the audience in theaters, and they have that passion, so they do a great job.
Well, Kevin, I'm so glad that we got to sit on the path for a little bit. I got one last
Sure.
question and then a 30-second bonus round. But get us excited. What are you excited about that's coming up for Kingdom Story? And what do you feel God is doing? Where do you feel like you're going to go? Tell us some
Yeah, no,
deets.
I'm excited about the fall. I mean, we have Whitebird in theaters October 4th, but then the best Christmas pageant ever, November 8th. And I'm telling this movie is so good. It's one of our best, directed by Dallas Jenkins, who does The Chosen, and it's the first of our films, which I had to kind of scratch my head a little bit, but it's the first of our films that's totally for all ages of the family. And so we're going to be encouraging families. If you got 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 17, bring them all because they're all going to love it. There's something in it for all of them, and even adults. Like it's not just for kids; it's for adults, and it's the nativity story. It's Christmas. Obviously, it's based on a huge best-selling book, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. But the movie turned out better than I expected, which is always a good feeling. So I'm excited about the fall. We got 2 great movies coming out in the fall.
Awesome. Well, we're so happy to track with you. Kevin, you are incredible. Kingdom Story is making such a huge impact. Great things to come. Okay, here's our speed round. You
Let's
ready?
do it.
Okay, this may start some wars. Here we go. Cake or pie?
Oh, pie, of course.
I love that you were like pie. Coffee or
Oh, tea.
tea?
I don't even drink coffee.
You're a
I
producer
don't.
and you don't
Never,
drink.
never have once, never once in my life. I'm 53, won't ever do it. Yeah,
Okay, this one's right up your
yeah.
alley. Night shoots or morning
Oh,
shoots?
morning shoots. Night shoots are for the birds. No, morning. Bring it all night long. That's easy. Give me something hard.
Okay, let me cook it up. Big action sequences or quiet emotional moments?
Ooh, now you got difficult. Now you got difficult. What's funny? Boy, that's tough. In the movies I create, it's the quiet emotional moments. You'll be shocked. So you know, I'll give Christmas Pageant as an example. I've seen the movie 50, 60 times because you just see it so much as you're putting it together. And I still cry every single time. And so I love that. I love that about making it. But then if I'm a consumer, I love going and eating popcorn and the big action sequences. So it's like, oh, it's tough. You're pulling me in both directions there.
Okay, well, we're gonna bring it in with a big one. This is huge. I'm gonna take a breath. Spielberg or Scorsese?
Oh, yeah, Spielberg. Spielberg, easy. E.T. Come
Andrew said the
on.
same thing. He was like,
Easy. Spielberg, all the Spielberg hits. I grew up on Spielberg movies. He might have been the one to inspire me to want to do this because you can make something beyond your imagination, and they're family friendly. So
Guys, we have talked with the incredible Kevin Downs, producer and part of the Kingdom Story team. They're doing incredible stuff, that company. Keep an eye out for them. They are cranking out blockbuster after blockbuster. Whitebird coming to you in October. I believe it's October 4th. Is that
October
correct?
4th.
Guys, let's pack out the theater, come in groups, come in droves, and let's see this incredible film. Thanks, Kevin, for being on the
Thank you so
path.
much.
Thank you for listening to On the Path podcast with Cheryl Nembhard. Please like, download, and subscribe. This has been an Exousia Media production.